What is good, you guys? Welcome back. So we're actually doing a live recording of my podcast. If you did not know, I have a podcast called Nine Alchemy Tarot, and on this podcast I specifically talk in depth in some sessions about the energy going on, the energy of the collective of whoever I'm reading for at that time. This one is going to be very in-depth because I really got a deep channeled message about the energy that was going on this year, specifically more so this fall equinox. Also, we're going to be covering it from a standpoint from numerology. I want to go more in depth and pull cards for the modalities. So talking more about the cardinal signs, the mutable signs, and the fixed signs more in depth in relation to where they are in your chart, but also in the energy that you guys may be experiencing, because I don't know if it's just you or me or whatever, but for me specifically, October be really kicking my behind. And I thought about it leading up to October. I've been thinking about it. I'm like, what is it that makes October for me specifically really challenging a lot of the times if I'm not aware? And I thought it was because my name is Autumn, but it could be. But at the same time, like, I really have the most changes in my relationships, in my overall life. And I really want to speak more to that because I feel like that is everybody in this time, because we are coming into a season of harvest, a lot of course correction, a lot of being sure. And it's a very specific time within this fall equinox, this October, a little bit of September we felt it, but October leading into November, I feel like is a very pivotal time to make certain corrections if you have not got on the path that you've wanted to get on, but also to starting to receive the harvest from what you have put out. So it is giving that sowing what you are reaping. So we're going to get right into it. I'm just going to flow with it. I'm going to tell you what I've channeled. I've really taken a lot of notes for you guys. And so I will actually put the timestamps on this video. If you're watching from YouTube, I will put the timestamps of the cardinal signs and the mutable signs and the fixed signs in the description, so you can go and check out the energy for those. But I hope you stay throughout the whole message because it is going to be crazy. So I actually wanted to start by pulling some oracle cards because I really do feel like, just to see kind of like what the energy is right now, what you guys are feeling, and then I'm going to go into what I channeled for you guys. So when I think a lot about October, Libra season, getting heavy into Libra season, it's like so much change. So I really feel like, what did I say? We got the change card here, and we also have the just go card. So I feel like there's a lot of changes when it comes to relationships, very specifically the way that we are in our relationships. Also our relationships to not just other people in our life, our relationships to our job, relationships to the way that we see ourselves in the world, our place in the world, our pets, everything. Like, this is called into heavy question during this time. But also too, the cardinal signs this year have really had a challenging time, and we're going to cover that more in depth. But also too, with it being like an Aries and Libra dynamic this year, going into the north and south node, we've been feeling a lot of the changes in the way that we initiate things, in the way that we create here with this create card, in the way that we create, in the way that we have been doing the same things over and over again. So let me get into these oracle cards. We got Sing, and let's see. I really feel like there's a massive change. Gratitude, rampage, it's already happened. This goes in line with what I've really been thinking. And the solitude card, I do want to point out that it is in reverse. So this is being called out of the shadows right now. So I feel like Scorpio season, when we get into Scorpio season, it's going to be more of that really shining a light. Like, you will not be able to hide certain things. You will not be able to hide the way that you've been doing doing the same thing over and over again. So it's really giving that energy. It's giving a lot of changing our tune when it comes to certain things, our perspective. So we also have break the chains. Yes. So this is ancestral healing, rewriting the future, ancestral patterns. Let me get 2 more. Just say yes. So we got the yes card here. So yes, this is really lining up with what I've been channeling. Let me get 1 more, Spirit, please. In that inner temple devotion, tune into the portal of your heart. Perfect. This is exactly along the lines what I've been channeling this morning. So I am going to tell you guys what I've been channeling. So this fall equinox, especially when we get into Scorpio season, is going to be more so about like that death, rebirth, relationship dynamics, initiation, alchemy, success, course correction. And the fall equinox is a contradictory energy with harvest and the death component, but it's coupled with a Libra season, being held accountable and reaping what you sowing. So this is a lot of the mentality that you guys are feeling right now. It's like you may be seeing the signs of you starting to get that harvest that's coming in from the things that you have set forth in motion in Aries season. So I really want to talk about this year numerically being a 7 year. So this is mainly about completion, outdated cycles, spirituality, balance within the world, as well as the self. So when we talk about the number 7, we're talking about an aspect from the 7-month, which is Cancer energy, our home life, our home within ourselves as well, where we dwell mentally, where we spend a lot of our time thinking about certain thoughts, that sort of thing is coming into play. And 7 actually is the zodiac sign Libra as well. So this all works together for what we are experiencing as a collective right now in this time. And what I find to be so interesting with this is that when we speak about cardinal signs, Aries and Libra are both cardinal signs, so they are the initiators and they are also sister signs within each other. Now, what's interesting is Aries is the 3rd month, so by now we know that 3s, if you know what 3s mean, they are about completion, but also communication. So the way that you communicate, and Aries is an action-oriented sign or energy. So the way that you take in the initiation to do certain things in your life, the way that you have really went forward towards things with a yes and breaking chains, if you've been noticing that has been a occurring energy in your life this year with really needing to change the dynamic in the way that you do things, I feel like that's being called into question now. So if you have not listened to that certain nudge in order to break certain chains or to say yes to the things that you really want, to listen to your inner compass here with this inner temple. So devoting yourself to listening to your heart space, really focusing in on the heart space this year. If you have not done that, and even when I think about Leo energy, really taking that step forward to really focus on the matters of the heart and the way that you see yourself. So bringing your ego into question and bringing that to the forefront to see, is the actions that I'm taking from an egoic standpoint, or are they what my heart really truly wants? So this is where we're talking about course correction when it comes to this season. Libra specifically with the Scorpio aspect, and fall as well being that harvest season where that death, rebirth, that plucking up and that replanting in this space. I feel like in this space, if you are already seeing your life kind of head down a certain way where you may not have gotten certain results that you have wanted, right now within this season, the Libra season and the Scorpio season, you do have that period here where you can make certain course corrections to make quantum leaps. Now, when we talk about this, I always say that your core belief about the way that you see the world is going to reflect in the way that you show up in this world, what tune you sing, how well you express yourself, how well you create, how well you open yourself up. That is the energy here. If you can come from a state of gratitude for what you already have, or if you have been consistently seeking more and not being grateful for what you already have, you will start to feel these effects here. And it almost feels like something is kind of missing here. So like I said, the third month being Aries, Aries is a very much so I am. It is the embodiment of the ego. It is that this is what I'm going to go forth and do this year. So when we make our plans, when we do our New Year's resolutions, when we have a certain end goal in mind and we've put forth that intention and really have built it up throughout the year, here in the fall is where we start to see those aspects turn up. Here's where we start to see the fruits of our labor here. So right now, if you are experiencing missteps, outdated cycles, how you express yourself in your relationships, if it does not seem fulfilling, when we talk about us being in a 7th year, 7 is about completion. It is also about spirituality and really observing how we are living our life through whatever spiritual path, or if we believe that at all, or whatever idea that we take to the forefront of our lives. That is where we see now, specifically more than ever this year, where you will realize where there has been certain cycles that are outdated. So if you take the initiation in Aries season from a cycle that is always, if you've always done the same thing over and over again and still have not gotten the results that you've wanted, this is where you need to look at. So look back at what you've done in Aries season, or even just the cycles. Like if you've always seen the same cycles, specifically in relationships, specifically in the relationship with yourself, that is the main thing that is being called as a collective energy, as a universal collective energy right now, because this is honestly a foreshadowing of what is to come right now. So if you're seeing right now, especially during Scorpio season, the way that you will be transforming, you have to pay attention to that, because the way that you are transforming within this time and you see the effects, if you can sit back and observe, you will start to see the good fortunes and all the things that you're harvesting. This is a telltale sign of what your number 8 year, which is next year, is going to be like. So with us being a 8th year coming up next year, you will start to see, you're starting to see now a foreshadowing of how the outcomes have been in your work, in your power, your personal power, responsibility, karma or dharma, and achievement, and sexual matters, sexual health, sexual creativity, that sort of energy. So as we get into October, you will be able to gauge during this time and make the course corrections as needed. But when we talk about definitely having these outdated cycles, it's like a mirror has been shown on them. There is a specific saying when it comes to especially getting what you want out of life, especially if you're into manifesting and changing your life in that way. There is a saying that is called, everyone is you pushed out. And I will go so far to say that everything, every situation is you pushed out. It is showing you what you are thinking internally, what you are thinking mentally, what you are thinking of yourself. And I feel like this is really being called into question. Now, why I want to talk about our signs from the modalities, from the mutable signs, cardinal signs, and the fixed signs, why I want to talk about the energies is because there's a shift that I was channeling this morning in the ways that the signs are being called to question the way that they have been utilizing this energy. And I feel like it's a cycle from the last, at least I'm getting 10 years, in how we are being called into question, or at least the last 6 to 7 to 10 years, where you have been being called to question your perspective on things, because your perspective has definitely kind of can make you get into a cycle of continuously starting the new year with the same mindset, the same, headspace, the same way that you see yourself here. So it's really about understanding that shift and making those changes to get the most out of next year. And once we get into next year and we fall into the year after that, being a 9th year, that is where more so our spiritual senses will be heightened, as it is a sign of completion. And then we start over that 10-year cycle, or that 9-year cycle again for 2026 being a 1 year, that sort of thing. So this is really getting the most out of the last 6 to 7 to 10 years of your life. Really, everything is coming to a forefront of how it's going to be, how it's going to be closing in. So I'm going to pull cards for the cardinal signs. I'm going to start with the cardinal signs first. So the cardinal signs are the initiators. So when you think about the cardinal signs, this is Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. These are the people who are leaders, or the energies. If you adapt this in your chart, this is wherever it is in your chart. So if you have these, then for you guys are the leaders, the initiators, the visionaries for humanity. And so I feel like for you during this time, I feel like things could be happening for you out of thin air. And what I mean by that, this is new perspectives, new ideas, new ways of thinking, new ways of how to approach situations. Or there could be lots of favor or chances for you within this Libra season and this Scorpio season. So cardinal signs, especially, I feel like all of these together, because when you think about it, Aries being the self-starter, then Cancer being the home life, how we see our home life, how we are in our home life, and then Libra, our relationships outside of us, and then Capricorn, our work. This is our foundation. So here, why I want to start here is because here is our foundation. Now, if you have Aries and specifically Cancer in your chart, you have definitely been challenged when it comes to your stability, your home life, that sort of thing. So yes, we got the Four of Wands here in reverse. So yes, this is stability, more so in relationships too. And so when we talk about Libra season for you guys, I feel like Libra itself being an initiator, when we talk about Libra being an initiator, Libra tends to really want to project their ideals and their views of relationships onto the other if they are not balanced enough. And with it being an air sign, they usually do it through communication and actually verbally saying how they think, how they feel, that sort of thing. But I'm really getting a different approach. And keep in mind, guys, I'm saying that this is for the collective, like universally, things changing. So what I see here is a lot of you guys are switching the way that you are showing up and doing things here. So I will say that October, once we get into October, like there's a lot of like transformation and a lot of like death and transformation in the way that you follow through, because cardinal signs, they are great initiators, but for them to follow through with certain things, it really takes a clear-cut direction. And usually in relationships is where they find that balance and those other people that come in to help them. So it is about our family, our community type of life when we do that sort of thing. Yeah, Four of Swords being in reverse. Fours are home and family. So you could be seeing 444 a lot. So for you, this is really your overall foundation, cardinal signs, that really needs that attention here. And a perspective shift is what I'm seeing here with the Three of Wands. So this comes into the way that you do, because we do have this Wands energy out here, and also the way that you communicate. So this is really like a foreshadowing of understanding how you're going to be initiating your relationships. So I'm picking up, if you're the one always initiating in your relationships, whether this is platonic or this is romantic, this is in the job, this is in your business, this is in wherever you initiate. Because if you are a cardinal sign, I'm a cardinal sign, so I know that I have that ability to initiate every single thing that I do. I want to initiate it, I want to set it forth in motion, and I want everybody to get on my plan. And that's not always the case, because what did I say? That Justice card come through. Listen, it is really about balancing out and allowing the other person to commune with you. Meaning, if you are an initiator or have that ability, this is learning to allow other people to come towards you. So not forcing your energy out into a, this is the plan, this is what's gonna happen, and really being dead set on that. I feel like you have not given any space for any other opportunities to come in, cardinal signs. So I do feel like, especially the way that you started things at the beginning of each season change or at the end, it's like within this, it's like the follow through here. The follow through that you've had has been very like stern, like this is the way that it is, but without giving that openness for things to change, for other people to have an opinion on the relationship, for other people to, you know, possibly say that there may be a different way to do this, or I can help you with this. This is a lot of like self energy that I'm seeing that you guys have really definitely led with through the whole year. And you can look back on this, and this could even be in like the last 7 years, like how you've initiated things. Because I do feel like for some of you who have not gotten the type of relationship that you've wanted, or the type of success that you've wanted in a job or career, I'm also hearing business, or the type of stability that you really want, it comes from the way that you initiate and really make it just a concrete plan without any openness for something else to come in, or other people to love on you, care for you, that sort of thing. It's like a certain level of closed offness is what I'm hearing. So if you've been consistently doing that through these last 7 years, this is where it's being called into question. And as we go through Scorpio season, for me, like I said, I'm a cardinal sign, so I'll just share this with you. When I think about like all the relationships that I've had, like my relationships have gotten real in October, really, really real, because I feel like I know my place in a relationship. And what I mean by that is like I know what I have to offer. I know what value I give. And sometimes, you know, you think that is enough without learning how to do the dance with the other person, like the Justice card, like learning how to bring things into balance, like so tunnel vision on what the outcome is going to be, that you don't give the other person that space to make suggestions in order to form the type of relationships that you know that you want. So this is a big perspective shift. So I'm even seeing you toying with the ideas right now in your mind about, okay, like kind of going down memory lane and thinking about your most key relationships that have changed you drastically, especially the ones that have made you more closed off, probably turned more to work. For those of you who have definitely gotten hurt, where you focused more on work instead of like relationships, if you've done that and haven't had very many relationships since then, it is because of that stern energy, that initiating energy, the need to make it be the way that you want it to be, without letting the universe come in and also help to do the work, is what I'm getting. Yes, we got the Chariot in reverse. So exactly, learning to, it's like the outcome has never been what you wanted it to be. So even if you think that you're getting far ahead, you're like, I just don't quite feel like it's the way that it's supposed to be. It feels like it's too much. It feels like it's too, you know, this or that sort of energy. Like, it just never feels complete. It never feels right. It never feels fulfilling, if that makes sense. So I feel like, cardinal signs, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be taking more of that indirect approach, more so from an intuitive space. Now, if you're a Cancer, you can probably do this pretty well, but at the same time, like, Cancers can have that sort of it can come off as manipulative, like a end goal within their emotions, like by expressing certain emotions can be used as a weapon in order to make things go the way that they want it to go. So I'm hearing to really think about releasing expectations for wherever you have any cardinal energy in your chart. So learning to sit with that, and also sit with the other people, and not place the expectation on how things are going to turn out, because when they don't turn out exactly the way that you want them to, you're so quick to possibly cut people off, so quick to turn to your work or something outside of you, instead of looking at where you could possibly be wrong. Because I know for me, I'm like, I could never be wrong. I could just never be wrong. But I look back now and I think to one specific relationship that I've had with a fixed sign that really just rocked me, and it was really around October, and it just seemed like after that all my relationships is like, it's gotten pretty, if you notice, if you understand what I'm saying, if you notice throughout the years, it's gotten more and more and more challenging, and more dramatic, more and more just more dramatic, like the way the breakups are and everything. And it's like a mirror. It's like a mirror has been shown up. Like, that's why I feel like this year, with the Aries and Libra both being in the north and south, know that challenging each other, because they both want to be the initiator, but Libra has to lean back a little bit and be like, you know, I'm going to let that Aries energy take take what it is. But at the same time, that Aries energy knows that it needs that Libra energy so they won't burn out. So it's a needing of each other, a needing of other people's energy, at least, to help you get through your life, if that makes sense. It's to know that you don't always do everything alone. It's other people in the mix too that help you get to where you're trying to go. So it's that kind of energy is what I'm getting. The Sun card, yeah. So it's like releasing. It's a lot of releasing that need to be right, that need to force things, that need to turn the will in your favor here. So I do see a lot of like walking away. Yeah, we got the 8 of Cups underneath here. So I do see a lot of walking away when it comes to it's a particular mindset that some of you guys are holding on to, is what I'm hearing when it comes to your relationships. So like I said, if you have not been in a relationship, or in a relationship that feels worthwhile in the last couple of years, you have to see where you've been putting forth or forcing a lot of energy for that relationship to present itself in the way that you would like, but not in a way that attributes to your highest growth, if that makes sense. So some of these people could have came into your life, and it's what it seems like may have been destroyed, whether it's your confidence, like whatever it may be. A lot of it was a mirror, is what I'm hearing. A lot of it was for you to take the reins off of trying to control a situation and come into balance with the person, not lead the ship here, not be the one leading the ship, or if your feelings got hurt, turn to work or close yourself off. Because I know for me, like, I know I was confronted with this energy as I was channeling this morning and typing it out, because I was like, yeah, for me, I am a Cancer, and so my sister sign is a Capricorn, so I do turn to work. I tend to turn to work. I tend to turn to things that keep me busy, because I just know I'm not wrong. I just know I'm not wrong. Even though I'm wrong, you know, a lot of the times, or even though I don't leave space for the other person to have their thoughts and their feelings about the way that I maneuver about something, or the way that I, you know, initiated something or whatever. So underneath that has always been that intuitive nudge to lean back a little bit and to just chill and to allow the person to come to you, or to allow the situation, whether it's been work or a project. I've been challenged with that all year, you guys. Like I said, for this year, a lot of you guys, there's been a lot of shifts in career and relationships. Like the things that you thought that you wanted to do, you just don't want to do no more. So it could be that sort of thing as well. Like just realizing as we're approaching this 9th year, I'm getting that cardinal signs, the way that you're going to be initiating is going to be completely different. It is going to be understanding that as a cardinal sign, no matter if you have a sun sign, moon sign, or rising sign, that cardinal energy for wherever your sign is, like, is a big part of your foundation. So I also have a Libra moon, so relationships for me are always often highlighted underneath the surface of what I'm most fearful about. So as we go through these, like wherever your energy is, whether it is like in a mutable sign, a mutable sign, a cardinal sign, or a fixed sign, those are like your foundations for within that energy of where you need to take a look at the possibility of where you've been over initiating or overdoing whatever it is for that energy in that area of your life, or wherever it is in your chart, or you just know intuitively, you know. So cardinal signs, the one thing I could sum up for you is really that surrendering energy, that Queen of Cups energy, that allowing life to change you is what I'm getting. Allowing yourself to change, because a lot of you have been definitely in that energy of always doing that same thing over and over again, like we talked about, or approaching situations, relationships, your work, career, the same as you always have. So this is that calling forward for you to really look at it, because if you're not getting the results that you want now, if your business is not getting off the ground, if your foundations and your relationships are not getting off the ground, if your relationship with yourself feels off, this is where you can make that course correction. This is where you can learn to surrender and let life work with you, and not try to really be the one that's like, it has to be exactly like this, and let the universe surprise you. So I feel like for you cardinal signs, that is where you're going to be headed into. So you're going to be really faced with people coming in now in October, like specifically October. And I feel like when we get into the signs, when I do the signs on my YouTube channel, we're going to be hitting a lot about relationships for the cardinal signs, because you guys are getting, I'm hearing like, I feel like a lot of people are going to be coming into your life if you're a cardinal sign, and some of these are going to be the right people, and some of these people are going to be triggering you to move you into where you need to be. So it's about allowing and letting things be, knowing your end goal as an initiator, but all you have to do is start and allow yourself to work with the universe, not to force the universe's hand to move in your favor. Okay, so this is an intuitive process. This is a different approach. So whether you will take and initiate something from yourself, you will take and initiate from a point of thought being, okay, how does this affect me? How does what I'm getting ready to pursue affect my relationships with others? How does it affect my relationship to work, to my end goal? So it's a bigger picture, you guys. So whatever your end goal is, if your end goal is you, let's just say, having a family, or if your end goal is for you to have a successful business, like, hey, the end goal, what does that look like? Okay, I get to relax with my family on these days, and I might only work for only these days or this time, that sort of thing. And making decisions from that point, and also inviting those people in who want to assist you with moving those pieces. I'm hearing chess. So kind of like Aries. There's a card in here that is the Emperor card, and it is the Emperor. He's playing chess. Yeah, this. It is the Emperor playing chess. So moving the pieces on the board, which are the people in your life who are showing up to assist you, showing up to help you, that sort of thing, allowing people in. All right. So this is where you're going to be called forth in October, more so specifically, because it really hits cardinal signs around our foundation and relationships. So this is really thinking of foreshadowing for what's going to happen next year. So if you, the more that you allow this to take over and to allow yourself to start to initiate differently, you are going to see how quickly things turn around in your favor. And you're also going to see how next year can potentially be for you. You can see how you're going to be able to see like the success that you've always wanted, the relationships that you've always wanted, the dynamics relationships that you always wanted. It's going to be pretty much everything that you've always wanted. So cardinal signs, I'm actually going to leave it there. And so this month in Libra season and in Scorpio season, I feel like you're going to know what to do when it comes to this. And yeah, so that's what I got for you guys. So we're going to move on. So we're going to get into my fixed signs next. You guys are calling towards me next. All right, so fixed signs, what I've channeled for you when I was writing this morning, I feel like some of you are still working on things from last season, from summer. I'm also hearing from last year here. So a lot of you guys could have been working diligently. And so fixed signs are your Taurus, your Leos, your Scorpios, and your Aquariuses. So I feel like with the fixed signs, you guys really work on things like consistently. So you guys are always good to have, like, be friends with or be around, or just to have like some sort of fixed energy in your chart when it comes to actually pursuing things, doing things, making things happen, because you guys have that skill set to see it all the way through. So I will say, fixed signs, a lot of times you guys get this thing where when you're so fixed on a desire, or even if it's yourself, it becomes kind of selfish to the outside looking in. And when we're talking about Libra season and Scorpio season, which Scorpio is a fixed sign here. So when we're talking about it from a point of view of Scorpio season, I feel like the ego definitely gets challenged here. I feel like the self really gets challenged here. And so I'm seeing for you guys, if you've really been so focused to yourself, on yourself, or working diligently through projects, through even yourself, I'm hearing transformation. So this could be in your body, in the way, your mindset, that sort of thing. If you've been too diligently focused on yourself and not focused on aspects of pouring into your relationship or learning how to transform your relationship specifically towards yourself, you are starting to see right now where, if you look back on the seasons that you've been working on, whatever you're working on, including yourself, you will see that you've only made a slight change, or you may not feel that you are where you want to be, or you feel like there could be one thing blocking you here. So it's been a lot. I'm hearing a lot of projection. So for you fixed signs, I feel like you guys have been working so hard on that one thing, whatever it is that when other people kind of come in and want to assist you, want to help you get going on whatever it is, or if people want you to come out and play, let's say relationships, that sort of thing, you could have been pushing people away here. So I feel like for you guys, Libra season is being called into question for you. I also get long-term relationships. King of Swords, yeah. So I feel like long-term relationships for you guys are really a big aspect right now, and also long-term commitments, including jobs that you've been in for the last 7 to 10 years are being called into question. This could mean career paths that you have been completely sure about, that you've been completely like, this is what I'm going to do forever. I want to do this forever. Like, and I'm going to get to the top of my field and this or that sort of thing. But I do feel a slight unfulfillment for some of you guys. So I do feel like there's a big change coming up, because like I said, if you heard me talk about it in the beginning, we're coming up on a 8th year next year. So Scorpio season is the start, and fall equinox is the start of a harvest season. So this is that putting in, that reaping what you've sown, whether you find it good, bad, or indifferent or whatever. You're going to be getting matched with that energy here. And so I feel like the change in you guys in the fixed energy is the way that you also invite people in. But I do see, like, if you have any cardinal sign energy in your chart, this would be the best type of energy for you to work with. So this is mainly about your foundations, but this is also in the way that you ask for help. This is in the way that you show up for others. This is the way that you allow yourself to be, I don't want to say like used, but allow yourself to be a person that people can go to here, because I'm getting a lot of that. If you've especially been like very like closing people off, like fixed in the way that you're handling things, fixed in the way that you handle your relationship when there's an argument or when there's something, like there's a lot of like a long-term type of, what do I want to say, like a long-term mindset, or even a communication style. Yes, a communication style that you've been doing for quite a long time, and it's taken over like because I'm kind of getting like an umbrella, like, and I see that sitting at the top and then everything else underneath that. So if you're a fixed sign and you're, let's say, when it comes to your relationships, you're very like, okay, this is what I want, this is what I need in a partner. I need a partner to XYZ, do this and that. It might be coming into question right now, because you may not have been getting the fulfillment as these years have gone by, the last 2 or 3 years. Something about after COVID, like you notice the way that you see your relationships are different, the way that you see people are different, the way that you see yourself is actually different, especially for my Leos here. I do feel like you guys have been recognizing a lot about how you guys are doing certain things. So this could be like definitely switching over from more of that me type of thing, and the Tauruses too as well. So switching over from not a whole lot of material things is what I'm getting, or getting your material concerns under wraps, or just like at least like into a point where you may, because I'm channeling a lot for you guys right now, but I'm getting something about like either the way that you ego comes a lot into you fixed signs right now, like the energy of the fixed signs. So I'm getting like, even like if you have had an ego about needing certain material things, needing a lot of money, needing things to be the way that you want them to, like really, even with the Scorpio energy, forcing things out and forcing people out if they do this or do that, not giving people a chance, being so concrete on the way that you are handling things for yourself, for the ego, and really being about that, well, I want what I want sort of thing, and not allowing the dynamic in your relationship to change. You guys could definitely be learning that you want to move on from certain relationships. Yeah, Two of Wands, like wanting to make a certain decision. So I feel like for the fixed signs, there is quite a lot of bit of change when it comes to the dynamic of your relationships. So I see relationship success too, especially if you are working with cardinal signs or cardinal energy in your chart, to bring more emotions, more feminine energy to the forefront. And for you guys, the overall is learning how to be indifferent. And when I say that, I feel like some of you guys just went, but learning to be indifferent. And what I mean by this, you guys, is to learn to be indifferent if things do not go exactly your way. It's a take it or a leave it kind of energy. Like, I know a lot of fixed signs who cannot sit in boredom, or who cannot allow themselves to do nothing, or don't want to allow the the spotlight to not be on them for some occasions, or to even like to be with or be without, that sort of thing, and it still be okay. A lot of fixed signs are like, no, I want my things, I want my money, I want this person. Like, no, if it's not like that, then we're just going to keep zoning in on that until it's exactly the way that I want it to be. And which is good in a business sense, but when it comes to like your relationships, those dynamics, it's not really paying attention to the way the other person is growing. So yes, Eight of Cups. You guys, this is the perfect analogy right here. So we got the Eight of Cups clarifying the Eight of Wands in reverse, clarifying the Eight of Cups. So you guys could be trying to keep walking forward towards things, keep walking forward to where, the path where you're lighted up about, and you're just so excited to get to. But then you're noticing right now that it still could have been stagnant this whole time. You still have not made a lot of progress on the way that you've wanted to. Like, you have not got things off the ground exactly the way that you've wanted it to. But with this is why things are being called into question here, because I feel like you are being challenged in the way that you have been showing up in relationship to yourself, which plays into showing up in relationship to other people or your relationships. And what I mean by that is, like I was saying about the ego being the driving force behind you guys in whatever endeavors you've been doing, but also the last few years, you've noticed, and if you're looking back right now, you'll start to see where you guys have been forcing things, or having a fear when it comes to certain things not being exactly the way that you want them to. So you could be fixated on something to where it's like you think that you're progressing, but Scorpio season is going to show you where you're not going to be getting a lot of harvest on something, but it's mainly because there needs to be a new approach when it comes to whatever you're pursuing. But like I said, this is mainly the relationship with yourself and bringing that into balance, which brings everything else into balance. All right, so let's see what else for you guys. Let me see if I got anything else that I channeled for you guys. And what I mean for being indifferent is learning not to be so, it has to be my way or the highway, and learning to know what battles to take on and know when to sit back and relax and to let someone else take those on. But also, when you do play your part, play it well. And like I said, if you guys have any cardinal friends, which is a Cancer, Libra, Aries, or a Capricorn, these people, you could be noticing these signs coming into your life and within these next few months, like October, November, December, which is helping you understand and get your foundations in order, because Cardinal energy is a foundation. It is your work, it is your home life, it is your sense of self, that sort of thing. So this is the way that you're understanding how to communicate with yourself. Instead of picking a fixed point on the outside, fixed signs, you are learning to take that fixed point from your internal compass. So this is what's amazing about this energy that you guys are going into, all right? So this is where that course correction is coming in. Seven of Swords in reverse. So yeah, it's about not putting the blame on things outside of you, or putting the blame on other people, or looking at other people's faults, or other people are getting in your way, or other people are doing this, other people are doing that. In what ways have you stopped yourself? In what ways have you gotten so fixed within yourself that you do not give space to see anything else? Fixed signs. So this is why this is like more than just fixed signs, but this is fixed energy in your chart. So let's say you could have a fixed sign in your Mars. So this could be in the way that you definitely get things done. This could be like you really being forceful, or you being so pinpointed. So let's say your Mars is in Scorpio, like radical shifts, radical deaths and rebirths, and they're really hard, and they're really like, oh my gosh, like very dramatic. How can you allow yourself to recognize that pattern within and utilize that energy and say, you know what is the opposite of that? And learning how to be indifferent towards that, understanding what it looks like from the opposite, but learning to be okay with either outcome here, and not trying to force just your way of what you've always known onto this, okay? So fixed energy. Seven of Wands in reverse. Yeah, it's about like not being so direct and working hard towards this one thing that you miss out on your relationships, that you miss out on just the moments. Because I'm getting like a lot of moments that you guys could have possibly missed out on, or if whatever this energy is in your chart, like you're missing something, you're missing a key component here, which is underneath. I'm getting a lot of smoke and mirrors here. So you guys could have been missing a lot of things in your life when it comes to this, all right? So let me get one more. Yeah, Ace of Wands. And like I said, we got the Eight of Pentacles on the bottom. Yes. So when it comes to one point of direction, a lot of fixed signs get into one point of direction and they just keep going and they keep going and they keep going. But this is about really starting over. This is about your relationship mainly to yourself, which sets the precedence for every relationship that you have, including the relationship to the things that we want out of life, whether it is our material goods or our work life, that sort of thing. So this is really about understanding what approach that you want to take, and this is really looking inside yourself here and understanding like, look, I still have time to change certain things. I still have time to open up. I have time to express a little bit more. I have time to commune with others. So this is mainly about you coming into community with other people, still learning how to love that part of yourself that gets fixated on things, but also allowing things to fall away, including old relationships that you have been fixated on for so long and they haven't progressed. Fixated on the parts of yourself that you've been dying to change over the years, but you just let those go because you're like, you know what, at this point, you know, I let that go. And when you take your attention off of those things, they usually start to change. So when you could focus right now on being centered in yourself and allowing the indifference of you being successful in a situation to be there, and also the other part to be there as well of you not being successful, allow that to be there as well. And then you will eventually choose the correct path, but without it has to be this way. It just has to. Okay, so I feel like October is definitely exposing that within your relationships, but also in your relationship to yourself. And if you learn how to work with others and work with getting your foundation internally, then you will start to learn how you can be a person that can help serve others, but also get what it is that you need and you want from the situation as well. All right. So fixed signs, fixed energy, I'm going to leave it there. So we have our mutable signs, which is Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. And you guys, mutable signs are open-minded. You guys usually happen at a time where things are wrapping up in certain seasons. And I'm getting with this energy here is you guys are getting a major head start when it comes into our next year, which is an 8th year. So I feel like you guys really are starving off a lot of the behaviors and the identities and the philosophies that no longer serve you. As this collective is feeling this energy on a whole, I feel like you guys are feeling it really personally within your life. Now, if you are like me recently, it's been very like more so like I have no words for certain things. So some of you guys could be in this space where you have no word for certain things. Also too, a lot of you guys, I'm getting a lot of you guys could be stepping into different career paths or really having epiphanies about wanting to do something completely different. So a lot of you guys are really getting head starts, and what I like about mutable energy is it really knows how to play with both energies, with where cardinal signs and fixed signs are. You guys are perfectly in that middle where you guys can utilize both energies. So as I talked in the cardinal section, I talked about cardinal energy being our foundations, which is our work life, our home life, our self-expression, that sort of thing. And with the fixed energy is what we get fixated on. Whatever area in our charts we get very fixated on. And with you guys being ruled by a lot of philosophies, a lot of ideas, you guys are always having open-ended, open-minded questions and viewpoints of the world, which allows you to adapt into any situation. So I do feel like you guys can possibly have an easier time through this year. This year has been really rough on a lot of us, but I feel like you guys can adapt to either easily. But I feel like you guys, since you guys are ruled by Mercury and Jupiter, you guys have had a lot of changes when it comes into communication and expansion this year. So I feel like in October, what I've been thinking about for you guys, especially when I got up to channel, I kept hearing you guys are going to have an easy time if you allow it to be. So within October, within our relationships, you guys really will be switching up the way that you communicate. I'm getting a lot of information is outdated. You guys have already been picking up on this energy very clearly. So for you guys in your personal lives, a lot of information could be outdated. A lot of ways that you handle your relationships could be outdated, and you have already been working on making those changes necessary throughout the year, especially through the Mercury retrograde. For a lot of you guys have been moving in different directions, have really been having these epiphanies throughout this whole year. And so with our year being a 7 year, this is definitely about like spirituality, and I feel like spirituality and philosophy do go hand in hand depending on how deep of a rabbit hole you get into that. But for you guys, I feel like you are starving off the parts of yourself that no longer serve you. So you will be gathering information for long-term plans. And the thing about this is, instead of you guys trying to figure out which path you are going to be moving slower in nature. And I'm hearing slow the turtle always wins the race or something like that, or something, you know that saying. But slower moving energy, you guys are going to be winning the race here, whatever that race is for you. I'm getting a lot of I feel like you've had a lot of straddling the fence energy is what I want to say. You guys have probably straddled the fence all year when it comes to you guys really making dramatic shifts in your life, and you feel like you've been held back, but you also feel like there's been times where you've been prompted forward and have had massive success in things. You've gotten a lot of things to move in your favor, but you've also had periods of time where you felt kind of stuck. So within this energy, I feel like you'll be able to adapt pretty well. within this Libra season, I feel like you guys could, like I say, be straddling the fence when it comes to certain relationships. Like, you don't know how you want a particular relationship to move forward. You also may not know how you want to move forward in the way that you're dealing with something, but you may know something may not be right in a relationship that you are dealing with right now. We got the Lovers in reverse, and then we also have the Ace of Swords. So exactly that sort of energy where you're just like, okay, like, I know in my head I can calculate, and I know because I'm a mutable sign, I know how to put out this energy, whether it is too passionate, whether it lacks passion. You know how to adapt and adjust yourself to be whoever you need to be in this space. But what I'm saying here is you're going to get more concrete here. You're going to be getting more concrete, especially when October really gets here, when we get into Scorpio season. You're going to be getting really concrete on the direction that you want to move in, but you're going to go at it from a slower pace. And I feel like once we really get into Aries season come next year, if you guys do this correctly, you will be able to see a lot of results quickly, especially those of you who are thought leaders and really moving forward and moving the needle when it comes to like education, reading, writing, that sort of thing. Yes, we got the Seven of Pentacles. So whatever you're putting your intentions on during this time, it does feel like a focused direction, which is moving you into this new phase in your life. All right, so let's see what else for the mutable signs here. I do feel like you will come into a place in October where, like I said, it's not going to be a split energy. It's not going to be a split energy. You're not going to feel the need to start over. You're going to feel a need to choose something that you've already been working on. You're going to choose a direction that you've already been teetering and tottering back and forth with. You're going to choose that, and you're going to move forward with that. And it feels like more of a greater purpose, mutable energy. So it feels more like a greater purpose for you. Yeah, the Chariot card. Definitely moving towards one direction. I'm hearing a steady stream here. So like I said, slow and steady wins the race. That's what it is. Slow and steady wins the race. But you guys are going to be definitely thinking of a greater purpose. Like, and you're going to be able to make strides materially as well. So I feel like for you guys in October, you're going to start to be able to see a lot of things come into fruition for you, like just little hints of what you have to look forward to for next year. And I feel like it's going to help you make a determined decision on how you're going to move forward. Yeah, Hierophant. I do feel like some of your ideologies are changing, or your philosophies, even when it comes down to religion, or when it comes down to what you've always believed about yourself or the world. You guys are having the most shifts in that area, or you can recognize what's going on in the collective and make the adjustments, whereas all the other signs may be having a tougher time with doing so here. We got the Knight of Wands. So this could be a happy time for you. I'm getting, if you are a mutable sign or carry a lot of mutable energy here, because you do tend to thrive in situations where there can be a little bit of uncertainty there. All right, so I feel like your biggest challenge here is going to be a definitive way that you're expressing something. So for you to choose whatever path it is, I feel like in you making that decision may be just a tiny bit stressful, but you know you're going to need to make it, especially from when it comes to your relationships, and especially when it comes to your relationships and how you're moving forward, and possibly a particular relationship. We got this Knight of Cups here. So it's really with this Knight energy, with the Knight of Wands and the Knight of Cups, making certain strides in the way that you are putting forth effort when it comes to the doing, and it comes to putting forth the emotion here, because I'm getting a split energy that your emotions throughout this year and even the last few years, like I've been talking about, has been very split, never fully engaged, never fully committed, never fully, all in. you know, it's this and that. It's the light and the dark. It's the this and the that. And so it's like, what do you want to experience right now? And it's like, you're going to learn that you don't have to do just one or be only in just one phase. Like, you can take this phase, let's say if you want to be in a relationship and be all in with someone and not have a straddle the fence on making that decision. You go all in, and then, you know, whenever you're not going to be prompted to hold on if that relationship ever runs its course. You're going to be like, okay, like, that was what I needed, and yeah, I can move forward. It's like the Ten of Pentacles is going to be wherever you are, like wherever you're putting focused intention in. So for you, it's really focused intention on one thing, or one thing at a time is what I'm hearing. One area of your life at a time. So you could be in this space of where you're looking like, okay, I'm going to give a little bit of energy to this relationship, a little bit of energy to that relationship, a little bit of energy to my job, a little bit of energy to my career that I'm trying to start, whatever it is. It's like a little bit in each. And it's like, well, what is going to give me that main, because it's like you're good already internally is what I'm feeling. Like you're already changing those philosophies or those thoughts about yourself or about situations. And the more you get clear on what that is for you, what that looks like for you, you'll be able to really start moving into the direction where the Ten of Pentacles just always is, because you're going to know it's wherever you put your attention. Yeah. Ace of Cups in reverse. So you could be suspending your energy right now here. So it's suspending giving your energy towards anything new until you work out what's happening. So I'm seeing that you could be on the outside looking in, wherever this energy is on your chart, in your chart. But it's like you could be on the outside looking in, watching you get the harvest. And if it's not quite happening in the way that you want to, if you didn't make as much money as you want, if you went for this project and you're not making the money you want, or if this job you realize you've been in too long, or something about return on investment, even when it comes down to a specific relationship that could be being challenged, if you have not gotten that balance out that helps you to grow, you're looking at that and being like, okay, well, what did I get out of this? And if I change this, you know, what could be the possibility of this, or whatever this is. Yeah. Seven of Wands in reverse. Yeah. So I'm hearing like a pause. You're going to be taking quite a bit of a pause in October, and a little bit, like, we're wrapping up September now, but like you're taking quite a bit of a pause to observe here. So I feel like your job, mutable signs, is not to necessarily do, but mainly observe yourself throughout this, so that way you can make that course correction if needed, and it will be in a smoother transition than you think here. Let's see. Lovers, yeah. So Libra energy is going to be very, like, Libra energy and mutable energy. Mutable energy always gives me air sign vibes. So even if you're like a Virgo or Sagittarius, things like that, you still have a lot of air energy. Like, you think with your mind, your ideas, your ideology, like the way you're organized, detail oriented about things. It could have gotten to a point where you utilize that a lot in a certain relationship, and it's like, okay, but what about the feeling? What about this? What about that? Or you straddle like between that thought concept and straddle between the emotions of really giving to a relationship emotionally, that sort of thing. Or how, this is why I said, even it being we start our zodiac signs in the third month of our year, which threes being about communication, that is Aries energy. Cardinal signs are the initiators and things. So you're taking that moment to see how you've been initiating and how you've been going forth, or how you've been letting things happen, like that sort of thing. Like, if you just sat back and let the relationship take its course, and you're like, well, I might not be fine with what this person does. What do I need? What do I want? And get concrete on that. Because I feel like you're realizing that if you take all of your certain direction or whatever you're feeling and move that into one space, it's going to give you that star energy, what you want. So lots of air energy, lots of moving and getting into flow. But this will be getting into flow using one source of energy, one source of space. So this makes me feel like you guys are going for a more overall type of goal. Like I said, you're going for a greater purpose, but you're going to learn how to express yourself in a totally different way of a communication style. So like I said, we're wrapping up this year. And like I said, we're going to be heading into an 8th year where the abundance is really going to start pouring through in whatever direction you are pouring into it, or wherever you have your focused intention. So this is why I'm saying you guys like are really going to learn how to choose a direction and not learn how to straddle the fence, and learn how to work with even if you're going to straddle the fence throughout the year, there's going to be certain periods of your time where you're going to be in tune and focused on one thing at a time. And so I feel like that will help you feel more grounded, more a part of something. Like, because I feel like mutable energy, people who have that dominant in their chart, they always feel some sort of like left out, or just could never really get what other people are thinking or feeling. So I feel like you guys will be moving into that. Here, so let's see. King of Pentacles, the 3 of Swords, and the 4 of Swords in reverse. Yeah, so it's no more like it's really more of an allowance for you. And which I feel like you're very good at, allowing things to be either or. I think you're allowing yourself to choose something. This could even be choosing a relationship, choosing a person. Like, look, this is, because I'm picking up like Virgo energy. So very much so stepping into a place where you're like, look, like I want this type of relationship. Gemini energy. Geminis will be finally coming into like, okay, this is what I want, the type of relationship I want. This is how I want to be in this relationship. This is how I want to show my love. I don't want to show my love through being iffy. I don't want to show my love through being this or that. It's like, this is the way I want to show my love, but this is also the way I want to experience love here. And also with the Sagittarius, it's like Sagittarius are going to be getting more grounded on staying in one place. So that energy is like not going to be all over the place. It's going to be on one aspect at a time here. Really combing through your life and your foundation, especially if you work with Cardinal Energy, especially this year. The cardinal signs are mainly about foundation, like I said. So you guys will be really going through and really pinpointing, you know, what your work life is going to be like, what your purpose is, the relationships that you want in your life, and the relationship to the role that you play in getting things done. All of that is being called to change towards that new cycle that we will be going into in about 2 years, because you're going to look up by the time we get back to a 1 year in, I believe, 2026, you're going to be 2026. Yeah, you're going to be like so completely different in the way that you handle things. So I feel like all of us are going through this phase where we are allowing this sort of like change overall, yeah, without judgment, and learning how to be happy, because I feel like a lot of things are outdated just in general for the collective here. So mutable signs, I feel like you will be having that, the type of energy that you will be carrying, it'll be much easier for you to adapt to, because you're used to always standing in a space of possible uncertainty. All right, so you guys, as for this energy, let me come back over my notes to see if I missed anything when talking to you guys about this. I want to end this off really by saying this death and rebirth energy come Scorpio season is mainly about alchemy and about transmutation. So what that means is taking a situation that you already have, and especially situations that you've already put work into, and transforming yourself. So this is not transforming the relationships or putting intention on transforming the business aspect or your work aspect, all those do come into play, but it starts with transforming yourself in the way that you approach things. So this is really about making yourself over here, like really taking that deep dive and being like, what the hell have I been doing for the last 7 to 10 years? Like what behaviors have I ingrained in the way that I go about my relationship, my career, my life, that sort of thing, and what do I really want to experience for this next cycle? How do I want to start it out? Because here we're seeing, and I know I'm seeing it with me, so this is why I know that this is possibly resonating with you guys, is that if you've been looking at your life overall and you're just completely not happy, and you initiate things the same way all the time, like all these years, like, and you do it completely from the same way, it gets old, and now it's like it's just not working anymore, or there's like I just feel like I'm doing the same thing over and over and over again. So you're really being called to question like what you believe, especially for those people who have been like or are in a specific religion that just may not be going right for you anymore. You may go into something else, and this is across the board with anything. This could even be down to sexuality. This could be down to your food habits, like choices. Like you maybe have been a meat eater all your life and you may decide to go vegan. Like this is about radical shifts in overall a 10-year span, a universal cycle here. So 7's really pivoting in that change and really pivoting towards really starting to see the change. And once you really understand how it is that you're going to use these energies and these modalities to change yourself, to really implement the changes in yourself first and how you approach certain things, you're going to start seeing when this 8th year comes up next year, when we get into Aries season, the start of it, the way that you start to initiate things will be different, and the way that you start to receive your blessings, it's going to be different. So it's being open to that. It's being open to being where we are in our life and being open to where we are headed as a collective. So there's a lot of collective changes over all these energies. So I really want you guys to comb through this video and really take notes on where this energy is in your chart, and really pay attention to your rising sign. Wherever your rising sign is, you will get the most out of that. But also to check your Mars as well, because your Mars is going to show you the way that you get things done, the way that you project yourself into certain relationships. And Mars, Aries is ruled by Mars, so we're talking about Aries and Libra dynamics this year, which they are in the North Node and the South Node. So Cardinal Energy is really the foundation. So we're going to be really focusing on getting our foundations down pat for the rest of this year, and we're going to really start to see those changes take big root in next year. All right, you guys, so I really just wanted to do this. If you are on YouTube, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to check out my podcast, available on Spotify and Apple Podcast. And if you are on my podcast and you want to see me pull cards and you want to see what type of other videos I have, go to my YouTube channel, 9 Alchemy, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.